Good morning. I It was a bit of a rough morning. I woke up with a bit of a headache with some back pain. I was up at 4:45, kind of tossing and turning. I'm 30 weeks pregnant, so sleep is just not my friend right now. I'm looking forward to being able to at least lay comfortably again. I know sleep is going to be hit and miss when the baby comes, but I'm definitely looking forward to being less sore physically, at least in my back. I know all the other stuff that comes postpartum, all that other fun pain, but this one I'm a little sick and tired of. So we can get through that part, please. But anyway, because I woke up with a bit of a headache, I decided to read. I was reading Possession as an audiobook, but I found that I was trying to read while the kids were playing or something, and I just kind of kept getting lost. Maybe it's because it's a story I know and I wasn't as focused. Maybe it was because the descriptions were a little sluggish. I'm not sure. I feel like maybe I would pay more attention if it was in a solid form, but I was doing audiobook and I kept finding that I was kind of coming in and out depending on what I was doing. So I put that one on hold and decided to do, it's not a hardcover, it's reading from my phone on a library app. But I switched to a book called Perfume, The Story of a Murderer. And I find it fascinating. It's very interesting how the writer describes the main character's feelings, the descriptions of how he describes what everything smells like. I saw the trailer for it a long time ago, and I thought the trailer looked really cool for the movie. I think it was like a 2006 movie. And I just was like, oh, that movie looks kind of interesting. But before I got the movie, I was like, I'm going to see if I like the book. Because it just has a very interesting premise. It's about a guy who is obsessed with smells and turns into a murderer when he tries to bottle up the scents of females so that he can preserve their smell longer. I don't know. I'm getting into it and I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. A little disturbing probably for some people, and the fact that they sort of dehumanize the women. But I mean, most murderers do. So I was like, no, this is actually really true to form and really an interesting dive into the head of somebody like this who would do something like this. I think I read some reviews on Amazon maybe or Goodreads, and a lot of people were like, this is just not my thing. And I was like, well, that's fair. But I was reading it and I was like, this is definitely my thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm in chapter 9, I think, and I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. I can't wait to see where this goes. But yeah, anyway, so I was reading that a little bit this morning. I think I'm going to try to do another 15 minutes of writing like I did last night. My head's feeling a little better. And I just want to sort of get into the next scene, at least have my character arrive where she needs to arrive, and have the other character she needs to interact with kind of start the conversation. We'll see how far I can get into it. But my husband's downstairs with the kids and gave me a little bit of the morning to rest. So I did some rest, reading, and now I want to do a little bit of writing before I go downstairs and celebrate Christmas with everybody. I ended up writing for 20 minutes instead of 15, and I got 926 words. So that's not bad. I hadn't really thought through this scene. I had thought generally, but I hadn't done an outline. I usually do an outline, a very quick bump, here's what's going to happen in the story, before I sit down and do a writing sprint, but I didn't have time to do that today, so I just kind of jumped into it. I tend to find if I have an outline that things go a little faster. But 900, almost 1,000 words is not bad for a 20-minute sprint. So very happy with that. Now I'm going to go head downstairs and spend time with the family. I just got back from some Christmas shopping. It was the kind of shopping that you can't do with the kids or the husband. So I was out there by myself. While I was out, I was listening to the Possession audiobook that I mentioned I've been listening to. And while I do love the story, like I like the premise of the story and it seems well written from how I'm listening, I'm having a hard time following along. And one of the things about reading some of these books for me is that I'm trying to figure out what works, what I like, what I find confusing, and maybe that's something I want to avoid in my own writing. And so I thought I'd do sort of a review of the book / audiobook that I am either reading or listening to as I'm reading it, just so I want to understand why maybe I'm having a hard time with it, or maybe why I love it so much. And I won't give any spoilers, but if you know anything about the movie Possession, which came out in 2006 or something, in the 2000s, it is about two literary professors who follow the lives of two authors from, I believe, the 1800s, and how they sort of intertwine with each other. And because of that, I am really struggling, at least audibly, following along on what they're talking about. There's been some instances where, like, I'll be doing something and I'll kind of jump back in, and my mind kind of went off for a minute and then came back, and I'm like, wait, which character is this? The present main characters are a male and a female, and the past is a male and a female too. And so there's times where it's like he, and I'm like, oh shoot, I missed that. Where are we now? And they bounce between the modern day people talking about what's going on in present day and them reading stuff from the past. And so there's moments where I jump back and I go, oh wait, is the he's talking about the present day guy, or the one in the past who's writing about something or writing to something, because there's a lot of letters involved. There, I got to a section that was in the movie and I was like, oh, okay, no, I know what's going on here. I feel like because this book was a long time ago and audiobooks wasn't as big of a thing, that bouncing around wasn't as big of a deal and wasn't as hard because you could visually see it. But audiobook wise, I am getting lost a little bit, especially because I'm trying to listen while I'm either doing farm chores or running errands, and I'm like, you miss one little thing and you're like, wait, I'm lost. And that's something that I want to avoid, because I long term would love to hear my books in audio form. Mostly because that's how I, for the last year or two, have been able to really listen and read books, because my hands are so full. Baby number 3 is coming next year. I have a feeling I won't have a lot of hands to visually see the story, and so I'm going to have to listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm still going to try to get through it. I got it from the library book, so I ran out of storage space on my phone. That's something I'm not quite used to having to deal with. But I was saying that the books that I've been getting are from the library and they do need to be returned. So I have a time limit on when I can read them, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. It does make me want to read them because I know I have to return them. And some of these books took weeks before they were available. So I don't really want to stop mid-book and have to wait a few weeks to have them come back. So I have to get through them fast. And that was all I wanted to say on the end of that last video that cut me off. This is a new day. It is actually Christmas Eve when I'm recording this. I have no idea when it's going to come up. I am currently working on some backup vlogs. I'm trying to keep my videos anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, just because I just don't want to go too long, and I know I ramble. And I realized that the way I need to cut them up, I need to either be more clear on how much time is passing, just do a week, like little snippets of my week, versus little bits every day, because I find I'm having a lot to put in there, and the vlogs are spreading out a lot longer than I thought. I thought these things were going to be really I do all this video and then I would have like nothing, and I'd have to edit and piece, and I'm finding I don't have that problem. Surprise, surprise for me. I have too much to say, which actually is the same way with my writing. I am an overwriter. I write way too much. Most of my editing process is me just cutting out the blabber. And I find I do that with the videos too. So I need to kind of find a way to make things shorter, or just make it so that I do little snippets throughout the week instead of every single day talking about what I'm doing because I'm having a backlog of things I need to edit. And right now I'm just sort of practicing, so I don't really care how long things take when I'm posting it. I don't have like a set schedule or anything. It's just sort of when it's done, post it, which as a mom, that might be my best scheduling option, is just to post when I can. I know a lot of people recommend doing it on a regular schedule, but I just right now it would be easier for me, but then I'm going to have an infant in a few months, and I just don't think that's going to be possible to do any sort of schedule. So just going to edit and post when I can. These might be a little bit backlogged. A lot of these are talking about pre-Christmas and like leading up to Christmas, and Christmas is tomorrow, and this probably won't come out for another few weeks. It's going to be a bit of a backlog, but after Christmas, hopefully I won't need to have like this is what's happening this week. It could just be, here's my process and my story. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But yeah, this morning was mostly just editing the last one that I'm currently it's currently rendering and about to post, and also just trying to figure out where I need to cut things and place them, because I haven't been very clear in the videos themselves of what day I'm working on. I'm sort of bouncing around. I tend to have a lot of videos in the beginning of the day and then none at the end, because that's when my kids are here and going crazy, and when the husband comes, I just don't have any time to actually like get on camera. And so I'm bouncing around between days and being like, hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and being like, okay, you don't need to say that a million times. I'm also noticing that the handhold is just too close to the face, and I need to pull it out a little bit more, because even when it is shaky, when I try to fix that, it makes it really close. So there's just certain things that I'm learning as I go through this whole editing process. I'm a lot more used to having it stable. Like right now it's on something, so I don't have to worry about the shakiness. But when I move around or I'm holding it, that's a little harder for me to stay steady, because I talk with my hands. So anyway, this is just kind of some of the things that I've been working on. I didn't have the time or the energy this morning to write. I have been sleeping a little bit better, so yay me. But the kids are upstairs. They're about to come down. They're here. I have both my older kids here for 3 more weeks until school starts again, and then I have then I'm down to one, and then I still have the one in my belly, but that one doesn't cause too many issues during the morning. Only at night. I'm just doing a lot of learning, a lot of growing. I probably won't do any more videos from the rest of the week, and then maybe I'll get started again, like recording in January. And I just don't want to get so bogged down with videos that I end up editing and not writing, because writing is really the priority. This is just more of a fun side thing that I can share. I don't have a writing community nearby that I've enjoyed. And a lot of the online stuff, they do romance and science fiction and fantasy, which is not what I write. So I wanted to find a way to sort of let out all the things that are bottled up in a community that is more akin to what I write, which is the mystery, thriller, crime genre. So if that's definitely you, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I am going to work on certain things like the rambling and the editing. I appreciate anybody who's come along with me at the beginning as I figure all this out, and I've enjoyed working on it, and I really enjoy getting to know you guys. So my kids are screaming and fighting upstairs, so I need to go check on them. But this is going to be belated, but Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope you have a great start to the new year, and I'm looking excited to see what 2025 holds in store. Bye.